Tonight is Black Sunday, and while most of the world sleeps peacefully under the illusion of normalcy, something historic and irreversible is unfolding behind closed doors inside the most powerful financial institutions on Earth. The silence you feel right now is not calm. It is the stillness before a systemic collapse. While families scroll their phones, watch entertainment, and prepare for another ordinary Monday, emergency lights are burning through the night in London, New York, and Zurich. Behind those lights are men and women who know the truth. The global silver market has reached a breaking point that can no longer be hidden, delayed, or digitally manipulated. What happens when the markets open tomorrow morning will permanently alter the financial system you have trusted your entire life. For decades, you were taught that silver is just another commodity, boring, abundant, and easily replaceable. You were told its price is governed by fair markets, rational actors, and transparent supply and demand. That belief was carefully engineered. In reality, the silver market has been one of the most aggressively manipulated structures in modern history, sustained only by paper contracts, leverage, and a fractional reserve system so distorted that it defies basic mathematics. Tonight, that illusion is collapsing under the weight of physical reality. The era of paper silver is ending, not because regulators decided so, but because the metal itself is no longer available to support the promises that were sold. What the mainstream media will not tell you is that secret emergency meetings are happening right now between bullion banks, clearinghouses, and central planners. These meetings are not about price discovery, they are about damage control. The $517 billion in unrealized losses buried within the global banking system are now colliding with a physical silver shortage so severe that delivery obligations can no longer be met. COMEX and the LBMA are facing a moment of truth where cash settlement is no longer being accepted and the metal simply does not exist to satisfy contractual demand. This is not a theory. This is not speculation. This is a structural failure unfolding in real time. Black Sunday represents the final trap. While the public is distracted by meaningless headlines and manufactured political drama, insiders are racing to secure physical metal at any price. The silver you believed was safely stored in vaults has already been drained, quietly shipped east, or pledged multiple times over to different owners. For every single ounce of physical silver that actually exists, hundreds of people believe they own it on paper. That imbalance has survived only because most people never stand for delivery. Tomorrow morning, that changes. Even a fraction of contract holders demanding physical settlement creates a mathematical impossibility that forces trading halts, emergency rule changes, and ultimately systemic collapse. This is why the gap between the paper price you see on your screen and the real-world physical price of silver is now the widest in recorded human history. The number on your trading app is no longer a price, it is a fiction. Behind closed doors, industrial buyers, defense contractors, and technology manufacturers are already paying multiples of the official price just to keep their production lines alive. Silver is not optional in the modern world. It is embedded in solar panels, electric vehicles, medical equipment, telecommunications, and advanced weapons systems. Without it, modern civilization grinds to a halt. China understands this. The BRICS nations understand this. And while Western governments were busy printing currency and inflating asset bubbles, China executed one of the most brilliant financial maneuvers in history. Using the West's own paper markets and digital illusions, they outbid the United States for every available ounce of physical silver. They did not fire a single bullet. They simply drained the strategic reserves while the price was artificially suppressed. This was not an accident. It was financial warfare, slow, silent, and devastatingly effective. Leaked internal memos suggest that the Federal Reserve and major central banks now recognize they have lost control. The banking system is no longer capable of maintaining the illusion of stability. Over 60 major financial institutions are sitting on the edge of a liquidity cliff, and bail-in mechanisms are already in place to protect the system. Not you. Your deposits are not savings. They are liabilities to a failing institution, ready to be seized to plug derivative holes the moment a systemic event is declared. Black Sunday is designed to lull you into calm, while your wealth becomes exit liquidity for those who saw this coming years ago. History is repeating itself, but on a scale never seen before. Every fiat currency in history has returned to its intrinsic value of zero, and the US dollar is now deep into its final phase. As it loses reserve status, a new hard money architecture is forming, one backed by tangible assets, not promises. Silver and gold are not investments in this system. They are exits from it. That is why central banks are hoarding physical bullion at rates not seen since the 1930s, while publicly dismissing metals as outdated and risky. The Shanghai Gold Exchange is already signaling the truth. Massive premiums over Western prices are acting like a vacuum, pulling physical silver out of the West at an accelerating pace. Vaults that once symbolized security are now hollow shells. This is the greatest wealth transfer in human history, happening quietly while the public remains distracted. Tomorrow morning, when markets open, the disconnect will become impossible to hide. Short sellers will be annihilated. Trading will be halted, and the public will discover that the price they trusted was never real. Bail-in laws passed quietly after the last financial crisis are the final piece of the trap. When the system breaks, your cash becomes property of the institution holding it. Meanwhile, those who hold physical assets without counterparty risk retain autonomy, mobility, and purchasing power. This is not fear. It is design. The system was never built to save you. It was built to preserve itself. Black Sunday is symbolic, but the consequences are very real. This is the end of the dollar era and the beginning of a new financial reality where only tangible assets are recognized in global trade. Trust, once broken, cannot be rebuilt. When the public finally realizes that paper silver is a lie, the scramble for physical metal will be vertical, violent, and irreversible. By the time the evening news confirms what is happening, the metal will be gone. You have been warned repeatedly. Tonight is the final quiet moment before the storm. The vaults are empty, the exits are closing, and the system is preparing to reset without you in mind. Those who understand what is happening will survive the collapse of the paper illusion. Those who don't will be left holding digital promises in a world that no longer honors them. This is empire economics. We exist to expose what others are paid to hide. Stay vigilant. Stay prepared. Because when the markets open tomorrow morning, the world you knew will no longer exist, and only those holding real, physical value will be left standing in the aftermath of the greatest financial reset in human history.